Welcome back to Taekwondo, bro. Today we're doing some palm strikes. So it's a pretty basic technique. I did the video a while back, what's better, punching or palm strikes. You might want to watch that. But right now we're just showing a couple types of them. So we're doing the rear hand palm right now. It's pretty basic. You can compare it directly to the long punch, except you're a little bit closer. So all the basics from a long punch would transfer over, except with like the overall power, so the palm is going to hit a little bit harder, right? So a key here would be don't forget to rotate your hips. Now if you want to pull your hand down all the way or you leave it up in a guard, it's your own decision, but just pretend it's a punch. So when you're using it, same combinations, same tips for power, same problems. You don't want to have super tight shoulders, you want to be loose, ready to hit hard, and also pull it back too. I'm leaving it out there just to show you like how it looks, but when you're using this technique, normally you hit and then you pull back the second after you're done hitting. You don't want to waste any time. So the instant palm strike is where we get a little bit more into self-defense. So the jab, we all know the jab and the cross, right? The punches. People perceive punches more aggressively than they perceive pushing people, right? So let's say you have someone, you need to defend yourself against them. So for a first technique, I would actually, instead of punching, I would recommend palm striking, because it looks more like you're like, okay, get back up, you're just pushing them, you're not really fighting them, and it also is less likely to hurt your wrists, right? Now, I know everyone likes to pretend that they got the best punches ever, but there's always a risk that you mess up your wrist punching, even for people who've been doing it forever. So the palm strike mitigates a lot of that. So you have someone coming towards you, I'd recommend 9 times out of 10, I would say, just go for the palm strikes on them, and hopefully it's over there. So side palm, we're getting a little bit more interesting. You don't see this one very often, and I don't blame people because they just never see it. So the side palm, you're going for like the ribs, right? The kidney shot. So you're going to the lower part. So it's sideways, right? But it has like an up kind of angle into it. So we practice this in the forms of Taekwondo a lot. Now, if you watch carefully, when I'm actually hitting with the palm, I'm in the horse stance, right? Or both my feet are planted. So you want both your feet planted. In this case, I'm doing the side palm, then I'm backing up to the side. It's kind of a natural way you'd use it. So overall, it's kind of equivalent to, I'd say, giving someone like a shovel hook to the body, except you're just hitting with the palm. Now, there's some martial arts where you're not allowed to punch, but you can palm, or there are just some situations where you might not want to punch. Maybe you messed up your knuckles in the gym, maybe they're all ripped up, and you still want to practice, and you do palm strikes. That was actually the largest percentage of times I was doing palm strikes, was because maybe I was spending a lot of time punching, and my hands were kind of a little bit torn up, and I wanted them to heal, right? But I didn't want to change my training, so I would just substitute punches for palm strikes. Now, overall, this is not something you use very often, but the advantage with a palm strike too is that when you hit, it's way quicker to just grab on. So say you do the palm strike, right? You grab onto the body, and then you do like a sweep or maybe into a hip throw from there. You can grab onto the uniform, so you always have that potential. So I'd say usually in real self-defense, the palm strike is a little bit better than punching. The only downside I'd see is that maybe it's not natural to you, and you also lose a little bit of range. Just, you hold your hand out with a fist, and you do it with the palm, probably got like a couple inches of fist that just wouldn't be there. So, it depends on what you do. I would say definitely worth practicing. And if you want to check out some highlights, look up Bass Rutten and some of his palm strikes. He's like a martial arts commentator, but he used to do a lot of fights, especially in some pancration type stuff, and they weren't allowed to punch back then in that league, but he could do palm strikes and he hit them pretty hard. So the technique definitely has its place, and I hope it helps you out. Hopefully you don't need to use it ever, but maybe you can do some break some boards with it, hit some punching bags, have some fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.